I spent the entire month of September styling my hair with this product and each time getting closer to what I wanted to share with you today. So stay tuned for the wash and go using the Earthtones Curl Define Max. Hi everyone, this is Abena. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to my YouTube channel, Embrace Natural Beauty, where it has been my goal to share with you simple tips and techniques that have been helpful to me in my very own natural hair journey that has been 9 years now, that have helped me to maintain my hair, to keep it in good condition, and to retain length, which was always my goal, because I want all of you who watch and who follow me to better maintain your hair, to keep it in good condition, and to retain length if that happens to be your goal, so that you enjoy your hair and embrace natural beauty of your own. In today's video, I have the pleasure of sharing with you the product that I've been using on my hair for the past 4 wash and goes. It's a part of a project that I mentioned to you that I'll be sharing here on my YouTube channel, specifically that I'm looking to incorporate various stylers with my clients in the salon. And what the stylers what the criteria I'm looking for is, number 1, it has to be botanical based. Number 2, it has to be water soluble. And number 3, I prefer black owned company if possible. So I already have a list of products that I'm looking at. This happens to be the first one that I'm sharing. No, this is actually the second one, because the previous video I shared with you was CurlMix and CurlMix, which are both plant-based, botanical, water-soluble, black-owned products. So this is going to be the second one. This is not reviewing. I'm not reviewing these products. These are specifically products that I am interested in using, that work well, that meet the criteria of botanical-based, water-soluble, black-owned, and meet the functionality of a decent styler that's going to hold your hair in a wash and go for at least 5 to 7 days, well-defined curls. So the Earthtones Curl Define Max. Let me show it to you. So this is new to the market. I've been using the original version for the past couple of years, and this one just came out a couple of months ago. So as soon as I learned about it, I wanted to try it, especially because it's called the Max with the extreme hold, and I knew that it would give me even greater hold for my clients who are looking for that type of longevity for their curl definition. And it is a learning curve. I'm going to share all of that with you in this video, and I hope that as I explain it to you, you'll get an opportunity to see how you can incorporate that with your own hair when you do this at home. Well, let me just give you overall what I believe this product brings to your curls, to defining your curls. I like this product for the fact that it does give you good hold, gives you good definition, and actually gives you shine. Which a lot of people, that's really important to a lot of people. So you're going to get, now the original has touchable curls. I still have a little bit of a crunch with this. So what I've been doing over the 4 applications is just trying to get all of the things that we want with the application to be dead on. I just haven't gotten the no crunch with this one, but it's definitely less crunch than the previous wash and go that I did with this one. So stay tuned for the demonstration. By this time, my hair has been fully washed, conditioned, and thoroughly detangled. So I'm just going to rinse out the conditioner that's still on my hair. I do this so that the hair is nice and freshly wet before I apply the first layer of product application, which is going to be my moisturizer. Now, you've all seen me use CurlMix before, and for those who have not, I'm going to put a link in the description box below where you can see a video where I used it before. Even though CurlMix is a gel, it's an aloe-based gel, so I'm getting moisture from the aloe as well as some good hold. But as I work this in, you saw I did 3 pumps. I started with 3 pumps. I'm adding another 2 pumps here. By the time I'm finished applying the product to my hair, I will have applied about 10 pumps. And I just worked it through thoroughly from root to tip, not necessarily focusing on raking and smoothing to get definition, but just to get distribution of the product so I can twist it up and then clip it up and move to the other side of my head to repeat the same steps. This is pretty much my routine for quite some time now. It's more manageable for me to do my hair in the shower, and when you're using this amount of water, you're really getting good hydration to your hair when you're applying the water in the shower with a hose like this, so it's very beneficial. So now you'll notice on the left side, I'm actually going to put 4 twists in my hair. And the reason why I'm doing that is I need for the base of the twist to be as flat and smooth as possible so that when I apply the gel, the styling gel, it's going to be a better application and I can get smoother roots. So these twists have been in now for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. It's been down like this for almost 2 hours. The hair's not soaking wet anymore, but it is still very damp. I essentially allowed my hair to air dry for about 2 hours to keep it from being too wet when applying the Earthtones jelly. The jelly needs to be applied to hair that is still damp but not soaking wet. That's so that it can adhere to the hair better. If the hair is too wet, then what you're going to do is dilute the strength, the extreme hold that the Earthtones jelly will provide. So you want to make sure that the hair is not, in this case, not completely dry, but still damp. Now this product goes a long way. It's going to be my 4th time applying it to my hair, and you can see how much product I still have left, like half a container. The consistency, as you can see, is very thick. I'm going to show you a little bit more detail later, but by this time it was the 4th time I was using it, so I was just going right on in. Unlike with the Curly Magic, when you like to emulsify it in your hands for a while and get a nice spread on your hands, I actually like to put this on kind of like a clumpy consistency when I apply it, especially to the root. That way it actually touches the hair, and then I can spread it better on the hair than in my hand. So you see I'll emulsify it just a little bit, but it's not really spreading over my hands thoroughly, so I'm just going to go ahead and wherever it globs on to my hair, that's where I'm going to put it. Now this is important. The way that I'm starting out with this application is I'm focusing on the roots. The roots get really puffy, particularly with this jelly. So, and this is my 4th time doing this. The first couple of times I noticed I had puffy roots and the middle of my hair strands were really flat, and it would be puffy again on the ends. So I found that by doing rake and smooth for approximately 4 minutes, followed by the praying hands for almost 2 minutes, as you'll see here, really gets my curls to pop more evenly from root to tip. So I concentrate first on the root, and then I go back and do this here praying hands. Now when I did this the first time, I actually applied the Earthtones jelly to hair that had no moisturizer, no leave-in, that was basically dry. I had actually removed all the excess moisture so I can get good adherence of the product. And what it did was it flattened my hair so much that I decided to now put a leave-in in. That way I can get a little bit more fluff. Oh my gosh, that really laid my hair down. Gosh. 2 coats. My hair is laid. That was a glimpse of how I started with this product. To give you a sense of how I arrived where I am now with applying the product the way that I do to yield the results I got on the 4th wash and go. I'm going to start with this much. That may be all I need. Just trying to spread it on the hands. It doesn't seem to, because it's like it's not going anywhere. You see? Crazy. Do this much. Hopefully I can get it. The other one's still in my hand. I should have looked at it first. Other stuff is still on my hands. It won't come off. There will be more detail about the other experiences at the end of the video. So for now, let's get back to the 4th wash and go product application. Working on the right side of the nape section is pretty identical to the left side, and so I'm going to handle it pretty much the same way. I did make a slight adjustment, paying attention to how my hair is responding or just trying to get better results. I did still do the rake and smooth for about 4 minutes, and the praying hands I only did for about 2 minutes. I finished with the last 2 minutes doing a combination of smoothing and shingling. Now the low pose section was different. I had to apply 3 separate coats of product application, rake and smooth for nearly 4 minutes, and the rest was smoothing, mostly 1 curl at a time. Yes, I shingled for about 2 minutes. I really needed to concentrate on smoothing the product onto my hair because the texture is so different in my low porosity section. And I've had a pretty similar experience with some of my clients where the hair was smooth. It was pretty simple to apply the product, but where the texture was a little rough, just as it is in my low porosity section, I spent more time smoothing the product on. Now it doesn't look exactly the same in both of those areas, but it certainly does blend well when you do a lot of smoothing. Here is another thing I wanted to point out to you all. Sometimes when people experience frizziness with their hairstyling, it's because they stop after they've got some what looks like good definition. But here, I've got good definition, but you see how there's there's a little bit of spacing between the curls. I want them to be as closed as possible. I don't want it to open up at the top, the middle, or the bottom, anywhere. So I'm going back over it. It's not good enough to stop there if you don't want to have any frizzy curls. So this is what I tend to do. I really do go for about 4 minutes sometimes because I'm constantly trying to get the curls to blend together and make a solid curl rather than be all open. So I'm going to skip to the front of my hair, focusing on the right front, where my hair is pretty much very easy to define with the exception of my challenging areas. So I'm going to focus on those because this product tends to have the potential for puffy roots. I started off doing the right front, and when I thought I was done, I moved sequentially upward, but had to revisit my challenging areas to keep it from being too puffy. A final note of encouragement for applying this product is in the challenging areas that I have in the front, and as well as avoiding puffy roots. I did this section too large. If you want to avoid having puffy roots and avoid having to redo a large section like I did that has a challenging area like I have, those frizzy parts in the front hairline, I would just recommend making this here section maybe half the size so that you would have 2 rows, or if necessary 3 rows, and you can get all of those curls on each row more strategically so you don't spend as much time as I had to do with a lot of smoothing, mostly smoothing. I did some raking to identify the curl, but mostly smoothing to get it to close and clump together nicely for definition. When I finally finished defining my entire head of hair, it was a combination of rake and smooth, a lot of smoothing, and a lot of even praying hands. So I fully defined the curls, sat under the hooded dryer for at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half because of the length of my hair. And with my hair fully dry, this is what it looked like. All right, so my commentary. It's a little fuzzy up here because I was trying to keep it fluffy. I like this. Very good. I like the size of the curls. I know I need to work on these front parts. Probably, I think the back is good. But yeah, it was harder to get the roots snatched. Definitely harder to get the roots snatched, but I did get the fuller look on day one. And so what would be interesting to see is how this one progresses throughout the week, if it pretty much stays like this, or if it does expand a little bit. But at least it starts out a little fuller than the previous one, which is what I wanted. I also want to show you a little bit of what it looked like on the next day. So as a follow-up, With my hair down for the remainder of the day, I have to admit I really love the way this side came out. It looks so good. Now, this side to me looks like a little bit like a hint of frizz, but it's not frizzy, if that makes any sense. But definitely much smoother caption over here with the product application. So it feels fairly soft. There is a crunch, and that is something I felt before with the gels that have the xanthan gum. But because I went a little softer because I was trying to get the clumpier curls, it's nowhere near as crunchy as the previous set. So it's wearable. But for those of you who don't like crunch at all, I have to admit, this is a little bit of crunch, and so you could just, scrunch it out. I really don't care to do that. The back, is really soft. It's nowhere near as snatched as, like, say, this area feels crunchy, and this feels a little crunchy over here. This actually feels crunchy down here too. So this side is crunchy, and this is the side that I did the praying hands, right? No, it was the back. This wasn't praying hands, just the back. That part, there's a little bit of crunch right down this one here. But in comparison to last week, it's not really that crunchy. And I like this side. This side actually feels soft, with the exception of a little bit of crunch here and here. And if it continues to do like it did the last couple of times, it pretty much stays. The way it looks now doesn't change too much. So yeah, I look forward to seeing it over the next couple of days. And you know what it looked like on day 8, because I did the opening of the video with day 8 hair. I kept this wash and go for 14 days because for those of you who may follow me on my social media, my Instagram and my Facebook page, you know that I shared that I traveled up to Massachusetts to see Dr. Yolanda Lindsay about an issue with my scalp. And so I didn't want to visit her with a freshly done wash and go. I wanted my hair to be old in case she needed to go through it. And after that visit, I didn't wash it until the following weekend. So that turned into 14 days, and this is what my hair looked like and how it behaved. Today is day 14 of this hair, this wash and go. Yesterday I kept it in the scarf. I didn't even take it out of the scarf. I was going to wash it, but I didn't. I was not in the mood to do my hair. And when I'm not in the mood to do my hair, I don't do my hair. Got to be in a good mood to do all this hair, and I wasn't yesterday. So let me talk about this, how my hair feels right now, being 14 days. This is not the first time I've gone 14 days with Earthtones, but with this particular version of the Earthtones Jelly, the Max, this is the first time. Clearly the curls are still defined. Where they were defined from the very beginning, they have remained defined. That is a consistent feature that I've seen with Earthtones. When she says your curls will stay, she meant it. Your curls will stay. Where it does not feel good is where it's in here. Here's a fro under here. There's a big fro. I mean, it is my low porosity section, but I did notice that getting closer to the roots was not easy. So even over here, I've got a fro underneath, and this is not necessarily my low porosity section. This is, but this right here where there's fro is not. And there's fro. over here as well. So I'm going to say that has to be because of the application, because where the product is applied really well, it does hold, with the exception of course, the low porosity here. I mean, if you look at it, it does have curl definition, has, you know, the wave pattern there, but it is very froey. Oh boy. There's still a cast. I could, you know, up here, there's definitely, this is a cast up here. And my hair is definitely coated with product. But it is soft. Soft. Everywhere is soft. Up here, so just a little crunchy. Yeah, right here. This is where it's crunchy. And over here as well. This is still crunchy. So what I did not like is that it didn't fluff up. It stayed defined. So for people who don't want fluffy hair, this is perfect. There's something for everyone. This is perfect for people who do not care to have their hair fluff up, but want it well defined and want it to remain and want to work out. But you will get a fro, because where it's wet, that's where the hold is loosening up, for sure. When she says your curl will stay, she meant it. Your curls will stay. Hopefully by watching this fourth application, you will get a sense of the best way to get a good outcome on your own hair. Just some key things to remember. I did apply the product to damp hair that was not soaking wet. I also focused on the roots because the roots can get puffy. I did a combination of rake and smooth, smoothing, a lot of smoothing, and praying hands. The product does not spread well over the hands. If you recall, when you put the product on your hands, it actually moves as you try to emulsify it. So you can put the product in on your fingertips and then apply it to the hair. And then once it's on the hair, just continue to smooth it down from that point all the way down to the ends. The product continues to stay on your hands, so you don't have to wipe it off. Just keep it on your hands and just apply it to your hair, and that way you get good use of your product. Another very important thing is how much product to use. You want to be really strategic in your product usage because it can go really far if you just use a little bit and work it through. Spend the time to work it through, because if you go too heavy, you can experience heavy crunch, which could also lead to flaking, which I did experience, and I think the second wash and go that I did using the product. And sometimes with some of my clients, where I went heavy, the product actually became gooey on their hair. So it's really important that you work in small amounts and just take the time to smooth it through. That is the best application that I've had on myself and on my clients as well. The next video in this series will focus on a product combination that gave me fluffy curls on day 1, and this is actually day 3 of that product combination. So stay tuned for that video sharing more about this product combination and how I achieved this look.